Hello everyone and welcome to my B&B Fan Club channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The fluorescent lights of Los Angeles County Jail buzzed like dead insects above Luna's head as she lay on the narrow cot. One hand pushed against the aching that had grown low in her belly hours before. The pain began as a cramp, which she tried to ignore, but by the time the guards found her slumped over on the holding cell floor, it was too late. Blood saturated her gray prison jumpsuit, pouring beneath her like spilled ink. The medical personnel moved with the dispassionate efficiency of those who had seen too much, wheeling her into the infirmary while she clung to the brink of consciousness. "Stay with me, inmate," the nurse demanded, but Luna's thoughts had already turned to the life she had carried for 12 weeks. 12 delicate, secret weeks that had been her lone brightness amid the nightmare of her detention. She had not notified anyone, including her lawyer. The kid was hers and Bill's, conceived in the fevered days before everything fell apart, before the lies, betrayals, and the courtroom where she was accused of crimes she denied doing. Outside the jail gates, the story spread quickly across the pristine corridors of Forrester Creations. Steffi Forrester discovered it first through a tabloid alert on her phone, while enjoying an espresso in the executive lounge. The headline read in strong caps, "Tragic loss. Luna miscarried after being beaten in prison. Bill regretted and cried." Steffi's lips twisted in displeasure. Luna, the girl who had wormed her way into their lives, seduced her father, and was revealed to be Poppy's daughter and a master manipulator. Steffi had never trusted her and had warned Bill 100 times, but he had been misled by youth and the prospect of a second chance at fatherhood. Now this, a miscarriage. Steffi felt a glimmer of something, pity perhaps, or the cool satisfaction of justice done. She asked Ridge whether he had seen the news about Luna. His response came seconds later. "Unbelievable. Bill is a wreck. He is currently in jail." Bill Spencer stood in the sterile visiting room, separated from Luna by a scratched pane of plexiglass. His neat suit stretched loosely about his frame. He hadn't slept in days. The guard had granted him 5 minutes as a courtesy because of who he was, media mogul $Cologne, the man who could build or shatter reputations with a single phone call. However, money had no meaning in this context. Luna sat across from him, pallid as cinder blocks, her eyes puffy and crimson. The jumpsuit swallowed her small form, and the bandage showing from beneath the collar revealed the rest of the narrative. "Luna," he muttered, putting his palm against the glass. "God, Luna, I'm so sorry." She didn't look at him. Her gaze remained fixated on the table between them, on the scuff marks made by numerous frantic hands. "You believe them," she continued, her tone flat. "You believe I did it. That I poisoned someone. That I am capable of." Her throat tightened. She couldn't pronounce the word murder. Bill's eyes widened. He had cried privately, in the rear of his chauffeured sedan, then in the shower where the water muffled the sound. But now in front of her tears flowed unbidden. "I don't know what to believe anymore," he acknowledged. "The evidence includes texts and security footage. But this," he waved helplessly at her, at the phantom wound that had claimed their kid. "It's wrong. All of it." Luna finally raised her head. "Do you understand what happened?" Her voice crackled like thin ice. "There are 3 women in the holding cell. They recognized who I was. I knew about the trial. One had a toothbrush shank. They claimed I deserved it after what I did to the Forresters. For sleeping with you. For existing." She chuckled hollowly. "They thrashed me till I was unable to stand. Until the pain." She paused, her fingers moving to her stomach. "Until there was nothing left." Bill banged his fist on the table. The guard trembled but did not intervene. "I'll get you out of here," he promised. "I will hire the best lawyers and pull every string. This isn't over." "It's for the baby," Luna replied gently. "Our baby." The word shattered him. He hadn't known. Not until the jail doctor called him, professional and dispassionate, to advise Mr. Spencer that the convict had miscarried as a result of blunt force injuries. Bill had driven to the jail in a trance, recalling every moment with Luna, the nights in his Malibu estate, her laughter echoing off the glass walls, the way she had traced the lines on his face and dubbed him her future. He previously felt she was innocent. "I had wanted to believe. But doubt had crept in like a heavy choking fog from the Pacific. Now doubt clashed with guilt. If he had battled harder for her and refused to allow the Forresters turn him against her, she may still be carrying their child. Perhaps they would prepare a nursery rather than a funeral for a life that never breathed. Back at Forrester Creations, the atmosphere was solemn. Eric Forrester sat at the head of the conference table, hands folded over sketches for the new couture line. The only sound in the room was Hope's pen scratching as she pretended to take notes. Brooke observed her daughter, worry wrinkles forming around her eyes. Hope had formerly been close to Luna, defending her and seeing the good in the girl who interned with her at Hope for the future. Now Hope's face was a mask unreadable. "Should we say anything?" Carter inquired, breaking the silence. As COO and legal counsel, he felt the impact of the company's response. A statement. Condolences? Ridge snorted. Condolences to a woman who attempted to ruin us? Who drugged Steffi's mother? Who? We don't know for certain, Hope interrupted. Her voice was harsh. The trial has not completed. And regardless of what she did or didn't do, she lost her child. Brutally. Steffi rolled her eyes. Please. Luna is a superb manipulator. This could be another attempt to elicit pity. Steffi, Eric warned. Enough. But Steffi was on a roll. Dad, you were present. You saw the evidence. Text messages sent from Luna's phone to the synthetic drug supplier. The video shows her fiddling with the water bottles at the office. She is guilty. And now she's playing the victim card from behind bars. Bill stormed into the room, his tie tangled and his eyes wild. The security man trailed behind and apologized sincerely. She's not playing anything, Bill exclaimed. She was beaten to within an inch of her life because of the lies you spread. Ridge stood. Watch your tone, Spencer. This is still my company. Yours. Bill laughed bitterly. Your family turned against her the moment it was convenient. You Steffi, every one of you. You portrayed her as a monster, and now look what happened. Brooke rose and placed a soothing touch on Bill's arm. Bill, we are all upset. But Luna admitted. She confessed under pressure. Bill yelled. Her mother threatened to disown her and reveal things Luna was not ready to face. Poppy is the actual evil here. She's been pulling strings since the beginning. Hope snapped her head up. Which secrets? Bill paused. The chamber waited. Finally, he collapsed into a chair, defeated. Luna's not Poppy's daughter, he remarked gently. It's not biological. 25 years ago, Poppy took her from a hospital in San Francisco, raised her as her own. Luna only discovered out after being arrested, when Poppy paid her a visit in jail and joked about it. Said Luna owed her everything, including accepting the blame for the narcotics. The room erupted. Steffi declared it impossible. Ridge demanded proof. Carter's legal mind spun from the ramifications. Eric simply closed his eyes, the weight of another Forrester controversy resting on his shoulders like dust. Meanwhile, Luna lay in the jail infirmary, staring up at the ceiling tiles. The doctor determined that the loss was complete, thus no D&C was required. Simply rest, hydration, and time. She did not have time. Her trial was set for the following week, and the prosecution's case was unequivocal. Or so they thought. She did not tell Bill everything. She hadn't informed him about the visitor who had slipped her a message during recreation time. A note from Lee Finnegan, of all people. I understand the truth about the medications. Meet me when you are out. We can clear your name. Lee, who once attempted to kill her and pushed her into the ocean in a fit of wrath over Finn. Lee, what game were you playing now? Luna rolled onto her side, suffering at the tug of the stitches. The baby was no longer present, yet the fight continued. She would make it through this. She would walk out of this prison, clear her reputation, and make those who had abandoned her regret it. Starting with Bill. Bill had cried in the visiting room but had not expressed his feelings for her. Who hadn't sworn to stick with her no matter what. Who had looked at her with the same skepticism that had pervaded their relationship from the beginning. Bill sat alone in his office at Spencer Publications, with a bottle of Macallan open on the desk. The city lights gleamed beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows, unconcerned about his anguish. He took out his phone and scrolled to a snapshot of Luna from months ago, when she had fallen asleep on his yacht, hair disheveled by the sea breeze and a smile on her lips. He believed in her then. Had hoped to start a family with her, to give Will a sibling, and to prove he could be the man she deserved. That hope had become ash. He phoned a number he hadn't contacted in years. Sheila Carter's burner phone. Sheila answered the second ring, her voice dripping with faux worry. Bill. What do I attribute the joy to? I need a favor, he said, loathing himself. Luna is in peril. This is a serious problem. And I believe you are the only one who can help. Sheila's laughter echoed across the line. Oh, Bill. You always knew how to make a girl feel special. The lights in the jail faded for count. Luna closed her eyes, hoping to fall asleep soon. She dreamed of holding a baby with Bill's eyes and grin. In her dreams they were a family. But dreams were frail, and daylight always arrived. The following day, the story dominated the news cycle. Talk shows discussed Luna's heartbreaking loss and speculated on the father's identity. Bill's name trended on X, along with hashtags like #JusticeForLuna and #SpencerScandal. The paparazzi congregated outside the jail, trying to catch a glimpse of the broken heiress. Luna declined to have people inside. She only met with her new lawyer, a shark named Cassandra Rowe who was recommended by Bill's private investigator. Cassandra outlined the strategy. A plea offer for time served, full exoneration in exchange for testimony against Poppy. Luna was not Poppy's biological daughter. According to DNA tests, and hospital records from 2000 show that a baby girl went missing from the maternity ward on the same night Poppy claimed to have given birth. The parts were falling into place. But Luna desired more than just independence. She desired vindication. She wanted the world to know she had been framed, that the drugs left in her apartment, the fake texts, the altered surveillance footage, all of it pointed to Poppy, and an accomplice Luna feared was closer to the Forresters than anyone knew. Bill returned, this time carrying roses sneaked through security in a lawyer's briefcase. White lilies are her favorite. I believe you, he simply stated, handing them over the table. I should have done it from the start. Luna looked at the flowers, then at him. Why now? Because I lost you both, he explained, his voice breaking. The baby. You. And I will spend the rest of my life making things right. She wanted to trust him. She really wanted to. However, trust was no longer a currency she could afford. Prove it, she asked. Get me out. Clear my name. Then we'll talk about the rest. Weeks passed in a haze of legal maneuverings. Cassandra disassembled the prosecution's case piece by piece. The manufactured pharmaceuticals matched a batch stolen from a lab run by a Forrester Creations affiliate, which had been conveniently ignored during the initial investigation. What about the texts from Luna's phone? Sent during a timestamped spa appointment when her phone was in Poppy's possession. What about the security footage? Altered with metadata indicating alterations made from an IP address assigned to Lee's ex-husband Jack Finnegan, who had vanished months before. Poppy snapped under oath during a pretrial hearing, which was a shocking revelation. Faced with life in prison for kidnapping, drug trafficking, and conspiracy to commit murder, she confessed to everything. Luna was innocent. Has always been innocent. A pawn in Poppy's decades-long vendetta against the Forresters, dating back to a failed affair with Eric in the 1990s. The charges against Luna have been withdrawn. She walked out of the jail on a Tuesday morning, squinting in the sunlight, while Bill waited in a town vehicle. Cameras flashed. Reporters screamed questions. She ignored everyone and climbed into the rear seat, where Bill sat, eyes red-rimmed but steady. I'm sorry, he repeated. For everything. Luna looked at him for a long time. I lost our baby because of you, she explained. Because you didn't fight for me. I know. I loved you. I know that too. She leaned her head against the window as the car accelerated away from the curb. Bill grasped her hand and said, I don't know if I can forgive you. She allowed him. Then let me spend the rest of my life earning it. They drove silently to the cemetery, where the prison had set aside a modest, unmarked burial for the kid who never existed. Luna knelt in the grass and placed the white lilies on the small area. Bill stood behind her, his hand on her shoulder. Goodbye, little one, she muttered. Mommy tried. The following months were spent slowly repairing. Luna moved into Bill's guest house, but not into his bed yet. She obtained a position at Spencer Publications and established herself in the marketing department, earning respect on her own terms. Therapy helped. Time was helpful. However, some wounds remained scarred rather than fully healed. Steffi never apologized. Ridge wrote a brief email congratulating her on her independence. Hope came once and brought a peace offering of designs for a new capsule collection. "We could use your eye," Hope explained. Luna declined. Some bridges were ash. Poppy was sentenced to 25 years. Lee vanished, thought to be under witness protection after testifying about Jack's participation. The Forresters closed ranks, pretending that the scandal had never affected them. But Luna knew better. She'd seen the Fishers. 1 year later, on the anniversary of the miscarriage, Bill proposed aboard the yacht where their love story began. Not with a ring, too soon and too heavy, but with a commitment. "Marry me when you're ready," he stated. "Or don't. Please let me adore you. Let me try." Luna glanced out at the water and the horizon where the sky met the sea. She reflected about the baby they had lost, and the woman she had become in the aftermath of that grief. "I'm not the same girl you met," she explained. "I don't want her," Bill responded. "I want you. All of you." She kissed him, salt on her lips from tears or the sea, she couldn't tell. Forgiveness was a journey, and she was willing to take it. Eventually the headlines vanished. The tabloids went on to the next disaster. Luna wore her scars like armor, and Bill carried his sorrow like a vow. They created something new. Not flawless, not painless, but authentic. And somewhere, in the quiet minutes before sleep, Luna would rest her hand on her empty womb and speak to the child who never existed. "I battled for you. I'm still fighting." The city kept spinning, unconcerned as always. But in the pauses between heartbeats, love, scarred, defiant, and hard-won, persisted. Bill wasn't aware of the first time someone shoved her. Or the second. Or all the days she sat in the corner of her bunk, putting her hands on her stomach and whispered, "It's fine, baby. Mommy's here." She discovered she was pregnant only a week before her imprisonment. The delight had been overwhelming, fearful yet radiant. She saw tiny socks, Bill holding their child, and how everything could finally make sense. She had planned to tell him after dinner, after the sun had fallen, when they were sitting close together, perhaps laughing about something trivial, something mundane. But that moment never arrived. The police arrived instead. Luna kept her secret safe within the prison walls. She terrified that the world would steal it from her. She was afraid the world would punish her for attempting to hang on to something pure. The fight took place on an ordinary day. It did not begin with shouting or commotion. It began with Luna sharing a slice of her bread with another woman who was shivering with hunger. It was a tiny act of compassion that Luna took for granted. However, in regions where kindness is in little supply, it might irritate people. It can fuel jealousy. The woman who attacked her was desperate and angry at the world, and Luna just happened to be present. A push, a blow, a fall, and then more. Luna curled around her stomach, instinctively shielding the small life within her. But the kicks did not stop. Voices shouted. The guards moved too slowly, and the world went white then dark. When Bill received the call, he initially did not understand the words. He overheard his name. He overheard Luna's. He overheard the word hospital. But the rest was a haze, a distant echo muffled by the beating in his chest. He raced as if the world was sinking beneath him, as if he could escape fate. When he arrived, Luna lay there, pallid, little, and frail in ways he had never seen. Her hands were empty. Her eyes were tired. When she gazed at him, she felt love. There was always love. She informed him what had transpired in low whispers. She apologized, as if the loss was her responsibility, as if she owed him an apology for the grief. Bill couldn't speak. His throat tightened around the words he needed to speak. He grabbed her hand instead, as if it could slip away if he didn't. "I'm sorry," she said, her tears pooling. "I tried. I really did." He shook his head, tears streaming down his cheeks quicker than he could wipe them. "No. No, Luna. Do not mention that. Never say that." She closed her eyes, tired. "I wanted to give you something beautiful," she said softly. "Something new. Something promising." Bill shattered. He cried like he had never cried before. He grieved for the youngster who would never open his eyes. He cried for Luna's pain. He mourned for every moment he had been unable to protect her. He cried because true love does not make you strong. It strips you bare. Luna was eventually released. The official reports described it as a medical necessity. But everyone understood it was guilt, the system attempting to erase what could not be reversed. Luna went slowly through her home like a ghost, tracing furniture, window frames and memories with her fingers. Bill attempted to be strong. He prepared her tea. He cooked her supper. He stayed awake at night to ensure that she was not crying alone. However, grief cannot be held for someone else. Seeps. It hums. It echoes. Some evenings she lay awake, her palm resting on the empty space where life had previously flourished. Some evenings Bill awoke gasping, torn from fantasies in which he grabbed for a tiny hand he'd never held. They did not discuss the future. The future felt too heavy and unknown. Instead, they sat on the couch, sometimes silently, sometimes with Luna leaning on him, her head resting on his shoulder. Even though they were together, they both felt a sense of loss. But real love remains. It doesn't fix everything. It does not eliminate pain. But it sits next it. It retains the pieces softly. Bill never ceased regretting. He couldn't stop wishing he had acted faster, louder, and stronger. He eventually learned to say things he couldn't previously. "I'm here," he said as Luna trembled. "You don't have to carry this alone. We adored our child. That matters. That will always be important." Luna slowly allowed herself to breathe again. Do not forget. Never forget. But keep breathing. One day she went outside and felt the sun warm her skin. She closed her eyes and for the first time in a long time the warmth felt good. It felt like a promise, not of happiness or assurance but of continuity. They stood together in the yard, Bill softly grasping her hand. Their anguish lingered with them, like a shadow that never left. But it no longer consumed them. Simply existed. Even when crushed, love shined. The world had taken something valuable, but it had not taken everything. Because they were still together. They still remembered.